नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास कार्यक्रम इनसाइट में अशोक व्यास में आपका स्वागत है। और आज मेरे साथ आप देख रहे हैं हिलरी क्लिंटन और डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को। इनफैक्ट द होल वर्ल्ड इज लुकिंग एट देम एंड आल्सो पेइंग अटेंशन टू व्हाट दे आर सेइंग एंड हाउ प्रेसिडेंशियल रेस 2016 is turning out to be with so much arguments, a kind of tug of war, and then people have to work overtime every day on doing the fact checking, whether what he said is correct, whether what she said is correct. And so between all this which we would say is creating a kind of a smoke screen between us common people to these candidates, what is it that you would refer to as a real Hillary? And indeed the same question goes for Donald Trump. We are very near to the first presidential race debate of this 2016 presidential election happening next week. And before that, we thought people who are closely following Trump and those who are closely and wholeheartedly supporting Hillary should be facing each other to help us understand the position of the candidates and the questions that we have about them. Maybe they can help us understand better. And let me take the pleasure of welcoming someone after a very, very long time to our studios. He came here when he was honorably discharged as veteran. And Nishant, as I welcome you, and as I see you, you have matured a lot, man. And in the meantime that you served United States Air Force, after that, presently you are senior advisor to Madura Ventures, and you also served as chief of staff to ultra high net worth family, overseeing $1 billion in asset. And I'm really proud of sharing the fact that after completing his service with the United States Air Force, he pursued MBA, which he did successfully. So now he has a combination of knowledge which is helpful in helping us understand which candidate is better, perhaps. But maybe he's tilted more towards Hilary for the simple reason that he was appointed by President Obama to serve as special advisor to the administrator of the United States Agency for International Development. So now it is an advantage for us to learn a little bit more about President Barack Obama and probably also about Hilary. And as I mentioned, he has been a wonderful student with St. John's University. And let's talk a little bit about when you graduated with, what is this term called? Magna cum laude. Magna cum laude. Yes. So Jack, tell us, before I go to Jack, let me also welcome my other two panelists, Jagmohan Kapoor Saab, who is affectionately referred to as Jack also. So Jack, welcome. And you are going to help us find a balance between these two different viewpoints, which one Nishant is going to present, and another Vice President and Attorney Anand Ahuja, Vice President of Indian Americans for Trump. Anand ji, welcome. स्वागत है. आनंद जी की मुस्कान जो है वो आनंद उनका जो हम तक पहुंचा रही है, because there has been recent polls which are tilted in favor of Trump, that he's probably going to do better. But now as far as study is concerned, Jagmohan ji, on a different note, when kids do so well, as Indian American parents, the response that we have.
First of all, when I notice a lot of kids doing well within our own friendship circle, or overall, when they are good achievers, when they are doing good within the society, it makes us very happy. Not only does it make us very happy, but it encourages us to become better role models for them. So I think that this should be a good reason for all the kids to advance, do better in life. And thank you, Nishant.
So now, Jack, how excited you are about this race this time?
I am having dual views. I'm very excited, and like I always say, may the best person win. We are looking into various reasons, various debates, and various causes that each candidate is presenting. So we are going to be looking at all of those things as the time goes on, and we have very few days actually to examine it. So as a common person, as a person who's looking at both views, I would like to see where will the scale tip off.
So now let's jump right away on some of the issues which are hot button issues of this election, and one happens to be related to terrorism. And we recently have witnessed unfolding of blasts in New Jersey and New York, and thanks to the all law enforcement agencies who managed to apprehend this suspect within less than 50 hours. But this again and another instance that has happened at Minnesota, common innocent people were stabbed by someone who was found to be a Somali immigrant and most probably guided by the extreme ideology. So I would have you open the forum, Nishant. Those who are supporting Trump, they feel as far as counter-terror measures are concerned, he's going to be way ahead, much better than Hilary. And allow me to add, they have also questioned the reluctance of Obama administration for not using the term radical Islam.
First off, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a huge honor, and it's great to be with such great company as well. When it comes down to the term radical Islamic terrorism, the reason why the Obama administration and folks like Secretary Clinton and others are not promoting that value or saying that is because it is not associated with Islam. The Islamic State is not representative of this religion, which is Islam. It would be akin to saying that we should be asking the KKK to demoralize Christianity. They're not connected. They're two different ideologies. This is a terrorist organization.
Allow me to interrupt you because I'll have you finish this reference real quick. And
sure.
Anandji, do you think the reference radical Islam is going to bring about a dramatic shift or change in the way counter-terror measures are undertaken by the administration?
Yes, in this particular election, terrorism is one of the main issues. Now we have to look into which candidate is going to be as far as...
I'll come to that later part. Just this radical Islam.
Yeah, radical Islam, and as Nishant pointed out, there's one big difference. Say for example in Oklahoma, when Timothy McVeigh blew up that federal building, he didn't do it on the name of Christianity. There are individuals, there are terrorists, there are individuals, they are rogue elements, but it's only in case of when a Muslim does something and it does on the name of Allah or Islam, they are the one who are actually defaming the religion. So when you say that Christianity is not linked with KKK, because KKK is not doing anything on the name of Christianity. However, take for example case of Minnesota, which happened this Saturday. The perpetrator identified and asked individuals, are you Muslims? And if you are a Muslim, he will spare them. If you are not a Muslim, he will kill. Not only that, he did it on the name of Islam. He said, Allahu Akbar, right? So that's the difference, right? So even ICS or other terrorist organizations, as per Department of State, right now there are around 5,400 jihadi organizations linked to Islam operating all over the world. There are 170 jihadi organizations operating from Pakistan. And just one second.
And they will come back. We will come back to you, because he was continuing with the thread that how Hillary is going to be different than Trump. And this was just a passing reference. We will come back to you. So people feel that Trump shows a sense of understanding it better than Hillary. What do you think?
I think that Secretary Clinton has served as Secretary of State. She's been a senator. She's sat on the Armed Services Committee. She has a far greater breadth of understanding of what's going on with national security issues. She's met with all these leaders overseas and worked to build coalitions. She's brought Iran to the table to actually negotiate deals. When I do want to make one response, though, to Mr. Ahuja, when it comes down to the KKK, they actually burn people on stakes, which are crosses. So there is an affiliation with Christianity, but we still don't ask them to say, hey, you're not associated with Christianity. The same thing goes also with the Islamic State. The Islamic State, it doesn't represent Islam, and there are fighters that are out there saying Allahu Akbar, but again, all of these Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Al-Shabaab, These guys are all trying to position themselves to be the leader in the Muslim world. They're trying to misrepresent the values of this beautiful religion.
So now I'll come to Anand, but Jack, generally as a common man, when you see the prejudice which increases if you have another instance where somebody is stabbed in the name of a particular ideology, in this case as we witnessed, and that prejudice leads to fear, and that fear further creates some sense of division, which we don't want, and yet it is very difficult to prevent that. So from that point of view, the understanding of the problem as is perceived by Hilary versus Trump, how do you feel who's going to be better for America?
Technically speaking, the religious front should not be considered at all. And anything that is coming from one party or the other should really be negated. They should really be going on security basis of how they can tackle the entire world as one, not as a specific cause. So I think both parties will be looking into it as what they can provide the common person as far as a sense.
Before I go to Anandji, what is already available on the public domain in terms of the way Hilary stands and in terms of the way Trump stands? Who you feel would be in a better position with the kind of understanding that they have demonstrated so far to deal with this challenge?
I think currently it would my scale would be tilted towards Trump on that particular case, as his taking a stand to be more forceful on certain issues compared to the Hilary group.
So that's a plus for you, Anandji. And now let's hear from you. Trump versus Hilary, counter-terror measures. Building walls would help. Maybe that's not a part of the counter-terror measure. Or defining a particular group in certain way, and as your opposition party people would think that creating a sense of unrest or even increasing a sense of animosity amongst people, will that help in the ultimate analysis?
No, first of all, I don't agree with you. Having a wall at the southern border is definitely going to help with respect to checking of terrorism in this country also, because right now we do not know from the southern border who is coming to this country and who is not coming to the country. It's a free pass. So that's one issue. The second issue is we need more effective vetting process when somebody comes to this particular country. Say for example what happened in this New York bombing and New Jersey bombing on Saturday. He's a Afghan descent who was he's a naturalized citizen of this country. So we need more foolproof process where we can have some check and balances to ensure who is coming to this country. At the same time, when Donald Trump says that we should be careful with respect to the Syrian refugees coming to this country, now we are comparing Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Now Hillary Clinton is emphasizing that we should increase the entry of Syrian refugees to this country to the extent of 500%. In fact, a couple of days back only, Obama administration announced that we are going to accept at least 110,000 new Syrian refugees in this country. So here is a big contrast. I'll come to Nishant raised 2 points. One was Hillary Clinton's record as Secretary of State. I believe, and most of us we believe, that if today we are in this mess today, whether in United States or in Middle East, it's because of Hillary Clinton as a Secretary of State. Before Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State, there was no ICS, there was no problem in Libya, there was no problem in Syria. And Nishant, let me remind you, Hillary Clinton, your favorite Secretary of State's role in Benghazi. So what she did in Benghazi,
okay,
if you take her record, and secondly, I will make one second on KKK. KKK is a white and black.
Let us have some order. KKK is not the issue. It just
so he raised the issue that it's a religious organization. It's a white and black issue.
Okay, let us leave KKK out. Let's go to refugee crisis. And before I come to Nishant, Jack, how do you see there are nearly 15,000 Syrian refugees already in America. And as Anandji said, indeed that is the policy, and they want to be human, and yet so far we have accepted less than 50% to what are accepted in Canada, and of course way less than Germany, but maybe that is the way the process is. But in general, how do you look at this refugee crisis from the point of view of America's security as you see the stand taken by Hillary and Trump?
The way I look at it is that it is a good humane thing to do, to take refugees, to help the people who are in need and in desperation. So from the humane viewpoint, it's very good. But in the long-term viewpoint, the people who are coming from a very devastated area and have seen bloodshed and have seen all of those, in the children that have these images in them, there is a possibility of them having a flip in their brain someday and creating a problem.
So now, Nishant, it's a very important point, and indeed the whole Europe has now changed itself by accepting so many refugees, and in the meantime we had this Britain coming out of European Union, so that's a separate issue. As far as America's security concerned, a common voter would think twice looking at what has happened in Minnesota, and so how this particular narrative or this way as adopted by Hillary is likely to play out in terms of votes.
Are you asking
you
whether or not Hillary Clinton's position will be good for refugees in the United States?
No, for her to win the election.
To win the election, yes. We are a country of immigrants, and before I go into my full response, I just want to be very clear that I'm an Indian American. My father, amongst this entire generation of the people that are here right now, made a very courageous step of leaving their home country and coming here to the United States. Heroic. And they've affording us, my generation, the opportunity to go get an education here in the United States. And they've instilled with us values of family, education, diversity, democracy. These are all Hindu, Indian values that are now integrated into the system that have been taught to us with the system that's here that exists, and with refugees that are in different countries, whether it be Syria, Afghanistan, Sudan, that we need to welcome these folks here to the United States because our forefathers, my parents, left their country for better opportunities. And that's exactly what these refugees are doing. They're looking for better opportunities, and the United States should welcome them with open arms and institute them into the system that exists today and develop them into the great people that exist around us.
See, what you are saying, ideally, that is the right way to do. All are one, and that these are the good principles and probably should be applied everywhere, but they are not applied. That is where the problem is. So when they are not applied, and there are people out there who are not even hiding their intentions, that they want to kill people who do not think like them, so then you have to sort of restructure your approach in accepting, and that is where Trump seemed to be resonating with more people.
So we're a nation of laws, and for every example that you see of domestic terrorism, there is not a single case of somebody that came from Syria and participated in terrorism. But there's not, to date, there's not a single case of that ever happening. If anything, what Mr. Ahuja was raising is that Secretary Clinton started the war in Iraq, started the war in Afghanistan. Having served in uniform and actually being in Afghanistan and in Iraq, I can attest to you that the commander-in-chief at the time was President Bush.
But I never said that Hillary Clinton started war in Afghanistan or in Iraq. It's recorded. You can watch this DVD later on. I never made it. I said Hillary Clinton's role in Syria, Egypt, Libya, and Turkey.
And that was for the Arab uprising, which had nothing to do with Secretary Clinton or President Obama.
Yes, you destabilized the whole region there. Hosni Mubarak was pro-United States. Yes. You removed him, and instead that you brought Muslim Brotherhood in power in Egypt. You removed Colonel Gaddafi and checked from Anybody who lived amongst Indians also, who has ever visited Libya during Colonel Gaddafi's time. Libya used to be a modern country where women were allowed to roam around in skirts. There used to be night bars.
Yeah, let's not
so
get into that
so
too much,
you go there as a Secretary of State and you destabilize the whole region. And now, and who supplied arms to those rebels? In Arab Spring, the arms were supplied by United States, right? And those arms went into the hands of ICS. ICS is what? ICS is a creation of those Arab Springs and movements brought in by United States administration. You are trying to impose democracy somewhere where the religion does not permit to have democracy. As per Islam, king is anointed by the God. It's an incarnate. That's why in Islam, king is known as Zille Ilahi. Zille Ilahi means shadow of God. Shadow of God. So king is considered as shadow of God. You are trying to remove the shadow of God. It's a religious belief.
Let's just stay within certain boundaries, because if we start responding to this, we'll have a complete history and religion class. So don't respond to that. Yeah.
Revisionist history, but yes.
Yeah. So no, but just go back to the way Hillary Clinton's understanding of the world affairs is going to be helpful for America in such crucial period.
Sure. I think that there's a huge difference between the Trump foreign policy and the Clinton foreign policy. The Trump foreign policy is, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And that's exactly what Trump is saying. I'm going to go at this alone. I'm not trying to build any partners. I'm not trying to build any coalition. And that will only get you so far. But if you really want to go far in actually changing the way we combat terrorism, the way we grow economically throughout the world, the way we increase trade, the way we destroy walls, then you got to go at it as a community. And that's exactly what Secretary Clinton is planning on doing. At her time as Secretary of State, she actually went and built a lot of coalitions. The reason, again, why Iran even came to the table was because of the sanctions that we got the entire world to get on board with. It wasn't just the United States going at it alone like Donald Trump would like to do. It was the entire world against Iran.
So now Hillary Clinton doesn't quit. She doesn't quit. She doesn't quit. 3 times President Barack Obama said while he was speaking on her behalf at Philadelphia related to the situation that came about because she was not well. And Barack Obama, addressing another forum of African Americans, said that they should go out and vote. If they don't, it will be a personal insult of him. Basically, the way forcefully he could work towards ensuring that Hillary comes to White House, he's doing complete credit you must give to the way he is using his skills of inspiring and the articulate way that he says. And yet, Jack, the question about Hillary's credibility, her trustworthiness, it keeps on coming again and again. How do you see Hillary from that point of view?
I look at Hillary that having made mistakes in the past, I think she would have learned a lot and therefore may not make the same mistakes again. So in that particular respect, I feel that she would be enforced or reinforced actually to become a better person. Because when you have any person who is not so good, whether it's a reformed alcoholic or a reformed addict or somebody who did something wrong, and then you send him into rehabilitation. So once he comes out of that, he becomes a stronger person and he knows the other side. So I think she will be pretty good as a commander-in-chief if you take that particular viewpoint of knowing better.
So knowing better and trustworthiness on that front, Jagmohan Kapoor Sahab feels that Hillary would be a transformed president if she becomes one. But there are many more issues related to health of both candidates and their approach towards economy. And indeed, some of the words that they have used to describe their opponents and how they are working out in people's perception, building about having a dignified and so-called presidential presidents. So we'll talk about that right after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Inside Tonight with the show, guys, and indeed it is fun when you witness presidential debates, but there is so much which is at stake, which we sometimes forget, and that is because the presidential election turns out to be like a real television, and it's not a real TV. That's another point which was made by President Barack Obama. So, Nishant, the role that television and the need to reach out by being in front of the camera again and again, how it has played in this election so far. Look at the fact that initially all TV cameras were attracted towards Trump more than Hillary because of what he was saying.
Right. Everything he was saying was very sensational. He is very, very good at marketing. I will give him so much credit for that. He knows exactly how to grab the media's attention, and he actually got probably over millions of dollars in free advertising just by the statements that he was making. They were very radical, very different, and the press wanted to understand why he was saying the things that he was saying. So he's actually commanded a great amount of free press as a function of his outrageous statements.
So you are giving credit to Trump, which is good, but that takes away credit from Hillary. So I'll come back to you, but Anandji, the way, not talking about the second phase of election, but the first phase, it shaped up image of Trump, especially when the primaries were going on. Is it working out in the same way now, or now that it is only Hillary and Trump, then he should have modified his approach with respect to the way he connects with people? Has that change been visible?
Ashokji, proof of the pudding is in eating. The polls are reflecting where he stands today, and if you see the number of polls, it proves that whatever he stood for during primaries or whatever strategy he adopted at that time is working for him. And I'll just add one thing, that is definitely credit goes to Donald Trump as far as his appearing in media is concerned, but at the same time some blame goes to Hillary Clinton also. Before she gave her first interview to media, to press, she was absent, she avoided media for 275 days. We do not know the reason. Probably one of the reasons was that she didn't have courage actually to encounter reporters because she was scared that she will be asked questions on her email issues, or maybe she was so sick because of her health issues that she was avoiding reporters. The fact is that for the 275 days during election period, she refused to have any press
Direct
and that it's not only the credit goes to Donald Trump, but at the same time blame goes to Hillary Clinton also. And if I'm permitted, just quickly to add one thing what Jack Kapoor ji said, I don't agree with him on this issue that she will be changed tomorrow. It's a pattern of lies. If you see that she kept on saying, I never received or sent any classified information. She kept on repeating. When James Foley, FBI director, exposed her, she still kept on saying Chris Walker show. She goes and she says, and about her health issue also. 9/11, 9/11. She is sick, and they are telling lies that she is.
You said it. You said it. You will say it briefly. You did that.
Can I respond?
So you respond. Yes.
Yes. So I think it's a little bit silly, and I know he was laughing when he was saying it because he must know that it's absolute crap. Is that to suggest that somebody that's been in the public eye since 1992 in the national public eye is afraid to go talk to the press is a little bit silly by my standards.
So what could be the reason that she avoided the media press for 275 days?
If somebody's shooting themselves in the foot, don't get in the way.
No, but
So
why?
that's
My
exactly
question is why she did not
Okay.
why she refused to address
no, that's
press for 275 days. So you are close to her, you are her advisor or whatever capacity you
That's
are
exactly
there.
my
But
point.
so you may be knowing the reason. I'm just curious to know the reason. Actually, the whole world is curious to know the reasons why she avoided
let me give you the reason.
facing media for
it was-
275
okay,
days.
It was their strategy. Whether it has worked or not is another thing. And for having this strategy, there would be some reasons which we are not in a position.
I'm just curious to know the reason.
that curiosity is appreciable, but we actually, he also, I think, do not have the exact answer. But sometimes you decide that I'm going to raise my hands like this.
No,
sometimes this.
I do want to say that for somebody that's been in the public eye again since 1992, she very much has her facilities intact. She has the ability to respond to the press. There's been a $7 million investigation on Benghazi alone, which, by the way, a bipartisan commission cleared her of everything. They cleared her of everything.
We are just curious.
So-
Nobody
so-
is disputing.
No,
Not
no,
from
I thought you were
92.
disputing.
Not from
I thought-
92. No, it's for the last 40 years. She is in public eyes. We are not disputing whether she is in public eyes or not. In fact, it's more reason for curiosity that somebody who has been in public eyes for such a long period of time, why is avoiding media now?
Okay, so-
And that's the point that I was saying. President Clinton has always said if your opponent is shooting themselves in the foot, don't get in the way. And in the case of Donald Trump, he was getting hit in the polls week after week. He didn't apologize to the Khan family. He made derogatory comments about South
Where are the
Asians.
polls now as of
And
today out of all swing
We're
states
projected
except
we're projected to win
No,
the presidency.
As
so-
of today, in all swing states except Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is leading in all swing states.
Not
right?
Virginia.
Ohio, Nevada. Check you have a cell phone. Just Google it. So Google right now. We are sitting. We'll have a debate in the front right now. So check your facts. As of today, in Ohio, Nevada, Colorado, all those states, he is leading Hillary Clinton by 4 to 5 points. Nationally, he is leading Hillary Clinton by 2 points, except Pennsylvania.
So the margin of error.
With margin of error. yes.
So now time up for Anandji and Nishanji for a few minutes, and I'll go to Jagmohanji with the simple question relating to the approach adopted by Trump. He has been consistent in using some references, as of course Benghazi, then this Clinton Foundation, and do you think it has trickled down to people and created total negative impression about Hillary, or they do not trust what is being said by Trump? What do you think this Clinton Foundation?
See, as a common man opinion, I feel that both parties may be throwing some mudslinging at each other. However, how it affects the common person and his mentality to make a judgment is still going to be proven later on during the election time. However, right now we see a lot of statements made by the Trump group, which may be repetitious again and again and again. So a lot of the common people will get sick and tired of hearing the same thing. Same thing may go for the Hillary side. So being that I am part of the swing coalition, it could go either way, and the last decision will be based upon what it is on facts, not only repetition of old stuff, because people want to know what's now and they want to know what's going on now.
So now, before I come to you, Nishant, I request Anandji to be very brief in sharing the impression that you have about Clinton Foundation and how projecting correlationship between her position and raising dollars, probably for personal benefits, that narrative which is coming from Trump campaign would play out.
Yes, see, one cannot dispute that as a Secretary of State and money contributed by certain foreign countries to Clinton Foundation reflects that there was possible conflict of interest. especially actually this that there was a conflict of interest is being reinforced by the fact that when now Clinton campaign is saying that if she becomes president, she will disassociate herself and Bill Clinton, they will disassociate themselves from the Clinton Foundation. So that proves that if they, that
Well,
means that
nothing.
they do acknowledge that there is a conflict of interest.
Thank you. And now, Nishant, you respond to it. And allow me to recollect with my viewers again that you were also special advisor to the administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. So now you seem to have pretty good knowledge about the way financial system of not-for-profit organization works. Now, keeping all of that experience along with the way Clinton Foundation has worked, indeed, Hilary and Bill Clintons are top intellectuals of the time. They must have known that this would cause some aspersion on their intent. So where do you see Clinton Foundation? Will they come clean? Are they clean? How it's going to work for voters?
Sure. Thank you for that question. The Clinton Foundation is absolutely clean. There are public forms. There's a tax form called 990, which shows every donor. It shows where the money goes. This is all public information. They also have very clean records as to how they've structured the organization. The Clinton Foundation, first and foremost, has done amazing work. They've reduced the cost to antiretroviral drugs by for 9 million people across the world. They've promoted economic growth projects here in the United States. They've done far more in their time since 1998 than the Trump Foundation has, for instance. The Trump Foundation bought some paintings of Donald Trump. They gave some money to the Trump family, and they made a donation to the Bondi folks in Florida, and subsequently thereafter they dropped their charge against Trump University. So if you were to compare the two foundations, I think we know that the Clinton Foundation is far better. It actually has a 4 out of 5 ranking, 4.5 stars out of 5-star ranking in terms of the way it conducts its business practices.
But my friend, if I quote Trump, the whole system is rigged. No,
Sure.
he says so.
No, but can I ask a question to Nishant?
Donald Trump even contributed to the Clinton Foundation.
No, but
that's how much.
Nishant.
That's how. And Rupert Murdoch, who
Nishant,
has Fox News, he also
but
donated to the Clinton Foundation.
Nishant, there are two different issues, right? One is what Clinton Foundation is doing. Okay, they are doing very wonderful job. We are not disputing that, right? But second is conflict of interest, Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State and her connection with Clinton Foundation. Let's make it very clear. Let's make it very clear. Let's say Hillary Clinton is not associated with Clinton Foundation, and Clinton Foundation in itself is doing a wonderful job. Hats off to it, okay? Though on that particular point also I can argue with you. I as an attorney, I do a lot of pro bono work. You can write down and you can verify and check it, right? I give a lot of time to legal aid societies. That means I have a license to do illegal activities because I'll be protected by the fact that I'm doing a lot of good work. The second second issue is Hillary Clinton's connection with that. So we are saying her connection is creating a problem that same foreign countries, governments, they are giving money to Clinton Foundation and then they are getting benefit from Hillary Clinton.
He got your point. Yeah, you want to respond to this?
Sure.
He's saying,
there's absolutely no proof. What folks have been trying to do is connect the Clinton Foundation to any sort of mistrust that we should have in Hillary Clinton as a candidate. There's zero proof.
Saudi Arabia government has contributed money to Clinton Foundation.
Sure, they have.
Right. So other Middle Eastern countries have contributed money to Clinton Foundation.
What have they gotten in return?
No, the question is, there is one case in which somebody from Wall Street had a visa issue and they approached Hillary Clinton by donating money to the Clinton Foundation. Now it's a different thing. It's a different thing that Hillary Clinton is saying that somebody in my staff For example,
You're going to go to the Secretary of State for a visa issue?
No, yes.
That
You
makes
check it. we are speaking in a public television, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So why don't you check and then challenge it to me?
I'm telling you right now
No,
that the
so
Secretary of State, I worked at the United States Agency
But
for
I'm saying that
International-
Wall Street.
I worked at the United States Agency for International Development, which works under the State Department.
Good.
I had email access to reach out to the Secretary of State if I wanted to. I understand all of those processes. There's no way a visa issue ever gets to the Secretary of State. There are so many embassies across the world. It makes no sense.
Okay, so
That's what I'm saying. That's what everybody is saying. Donald Trump and all of us, we are saying that doesn't make any sense that you have a visa issue and you are approaching Hillary Clinton for that by donating money to Clinton Foundation.
But as a
And
lawyer-
now Hillary Clinton's defense, her defense is
Anandji, there is so much on our
No,
side,
her
but
defense is-
we want no leave this aside. Of course, it's going to remain inconclusive because he has certain stand. He started off by saying that it is clean. You don't think it is clean?
No, I'm saying Clinton
listen,
Foundation
don't
is
shout,
clean.
don't-
I'm saying
don't
Clinton
shout
Foundation
that.
is clean.
Listen,
But the conflict of interest
you don't have
is
to agree with him, but this is where he stands. So let's move on to one more issue which is very, very important, especially for the viewers of this television station. What is it that we can expect in terms of America's relationship with India, whether it is Hillary or Trump? Do you see any distinct difference between the approach of these two candidates, Jack?
I think both the candidates are going to be looking forward to the support and a good relationship with India. Because right now, India being one of the largest emerging economies and having a very dynamic Prime Minister, I think they are going to be looking for a good relationship, either or, whether it's Trump or Hillary, both of them. There may be a certain affiliation with the Clinton to be more friendly towards India as in the past. But I know that there are other presidents who've loved our mangoes.
So now, Jack, you are probably not aware that there is a group of Indian Americans who are doing a lot of awareness campaign demonstrating that how Clintons have been unfavorable for India, and they have tons of links to support what they are saying. But not getting into that part of detail, before I come to Nishan Anandji, Trump, Hillary, which candidate you see would be working well with India?
No, definitely Trump will be much better as far as Indo-US relationship is concerned. And Hillary Clinton, for example, Jackie, for your information, if you see Hillary Clinton's position on sale of F-16 to Pakistan, she took a strong position that Pakistan needs F-16 and United States should sell those F-16 to Pakistan. Whether it was on the position of nuclear deal with India, first of all, Hillary Clinton was not prepared to vote in favor of a nuclear deal between USA and India. She was persuaded later on with a lot of efforts done by Indian community leaders. And if she after that, she said that USA should enter into a similar kind of nuclear deal with Pakistan. It's a different story that China intervened and said that USA cannot enter into a nuclear deal with Pakistan because we have a nuclear treaty with Pakistan. Whether it is a question of nuclear arsenals in Pakistan vis-a-vis India is concerned, Hillary Clinton's statement was that both India and Pakistan should reduce their arsenals without realizing that if you see Trump has criticized China, Trump has criticized Mexico, but Trump has appreciated India. In so many of his speeches, he has said, in fact, on April 27th, in his foreign policy speech in Washington, D.C., he categorically stated that Pakistan is a problem, and in my administration, I will seek India's assistance to tackle Pakistan. Not only that, Trump Tower is coming in Mumbai, Trump Tower is coming in Pune, and Trump Tower is coming in Gurgaon. So Trump has his own business interests in India also.
So Trump's business interest may not necessarily be related to America's interest. Is another question which would come tomorrow if something happens. But Nishant, keeping in mind what he said with respect to Indo-Pak relationship and stand of America, approach of Hillary, and how do you, of course, you probably would think that Hillary Clinton becoming president would be good for Indo-US relationship?
It's going to be fantastic for both Indo-US relations. Secretary Clinton, prior to her being Secretary of State, she was the senator on armed services and foreign relations. She ended up voting, though, to support
eventually
on the nuclear deal. And nuclear weapons is a very serious issue. So the fact that you don't just blindly accept any sort of deal is a little bit silly by Mr. Ahuja. But I will say, though, that she's traveled there the most out of any Secretary of State. She is promoting education. There's a program now called Teach for India, which is very similar to Teach for America. And that was started largely because the United States government played its role with India. There's the PEPFAR program that promotes antiretroviral drugs. They promoted agriculture, a lot of better trade. This is something that the Clintons have worked on since 1992. The Clintons are loved by Indians, and the feeling is definitely mutual.
So mutual feeling in terms of the way we talk about outsourcing, or we talk about not letting people from other parts of the world come because they take away jobs. So trade, will it work better if Trump comes with the kind of ideas that he has propounded? Economy and President Trump, Anandji.
Yes, if you see on the economic front, if you see Trump economic proposals, he has said that we should reduce our corporate income tax, which is right now one of the maximum in the world is 35% right now, and Trump has proposed that it should be reduced to 15%. Canada has 15%, and unless we provide tax cut to the entrepreneurs, economy, we cannot get a boost in the economy. So that's one thing. But at the same time, if you compare Hillary Clinton's proposal, Hillary Clinton has proposed an additional franchise tax and an additional independent contractor tax. So with additional independent contractor tax, all these Uber driver, taxi drivers, all this, everybody is to pay an additional tax and franchise tax. You know, most of we Indians, we are owner of franchises, whether it's 7-Eleven or it's Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. So there will be additional tax burden, especially amongst we Indians, as per Hillary Clinton's tax proposal. So if you see the economy of this country, definitely Donald Trump is a better candidate as compared to Hillary Clinton. And secondly, illegal immigrants, that's again, they are taking a lot of benefits from this country, and that's another burden on taxpayers. And Donald Trump's proposal that we should have everybody come through front door, not from the back door, that is also going to have a better impact on the economy of this country.
So talking about economy, talking about pragmatism, and talking about some of the promises. So in one of his address, Trump said that in the first hour of his being in the White House, all illegal immigrants gone. Now, how are they going to go? I started thinking, you cannot just have a sound like this to make them disappear. Leaving that aside, in general, with respect to their approach and the kind of economic policy, whatever outlinings they have laid out so far, Jack, as a business owner yourself, who do you feel would be good for American economy?
I feel that in this particular respect, I might be inclined towards the Clinton group. Because I am familiar with some of the programs that they had instituted many years ago, and how it gradually benefits the local people as well as international. And I'm basically concerned with how it benefits the Indians as well. So keeping that in mind, I think Hillary might be a little slightly better choice in that particular respect.
So now Hillary, we just have a few more minutes to go. Hillary Clinton, if she becomes president, many people feel that this will be a third term for President Barack Obama. And being third term of Barack Obama, and you look at whatever has happened, so there are some, of course, plus points of Obama administration in terms of economic variables that we measure. with respect to job, GDP, etc. But there was overall, it is not as promising as one would want. Indeed, it has succeeded in bringing us back from sort of a depression. So how do you see Clinton would be different than Obama, or it will be continuation of these policies?
I think the president's policies have paid off really well in dividends. If you look at when the president started, our unemployment rate was at about 10%. Currently, we're at 4.9%. It's basically cut in half, if not more. You look at our GDP numbers, they're rising, but we were basically at a negative GDP, which is why we were in a recession prior. We have wages finally gone up. This is great news, welcome news that we just learned from the census, that everyone's incomes have gone up by about $2,800. This is good news, but this doesn't mean that we're done. We still have a lot more to do, and Secretary Clinton plans on promoting greater tax benefits and incentives for middle-class employees. She has higher access to internet in rural areas, which is an area in the economy that's being left behind. If you look at the wages in rural America, they've remained stagnant, whereas everybody else has gone up. We have the lowest amount ever recorded on history of uninsured people on health payrolls. So there's been remarkable progress under the Obama administration. This is something that Secretary Clinton hopes to continue in the next phase of the economic growth. But there's a lot more to be done. There's been a lot of folks that have been left behind. Coal workers. They went from a size of being about 177,000 workers. They're down to about 56,000 workers. So what do we do with folks that worked in the coal industry? Clinton has a plan actually to empower AmeriCorps, which is a program that President Clinton had created, to get out into the community, promote the retraining of some of these workers and getting them to be more productive in this new economy. The Trump plan, for instance, talks about wanting to increase tariffs and saying, we'll build factories here in America. Well, Trump doesn't get something, which is that all of our economy, our jobs, have gone into automation. So if he seems to think that there's going to be somebody on an assembly line working, I'm sorry, he doesn't get it. What's actually happening is there's a robot there now.
So now, just 1 minute, Anandji, or maybe 90 seconds. We will make America great again. How Trump is going to do that?
Yes, because if you see the record, and as you said very rightly, that this will be Obama's third term if Hillary Clinton becomes president of the country. And if you see the economy of this country, in the last 1 decade, the GDP of the United States has not gone up by 2.2%. There has never been an instance where GDP of this country in last decade has been more than 3%. Before that, GDP was 4.5%. If you see the economy of GDP of China during this 10 years period, it's more than 4%. So this is the state of affairs of economy. What you are saying, you are glorifying it, and you said that wages have gone up, but you have not taken into consideration that cost of living has also gone up. And with respect to unemployment, right now there are 400 million unemployed in this country, out of which 8.4% is unemployment amongst Afro-Americans. About 48% unemployment is youth Afro-Americans. So this is the state of affair during Obama administration. And if you want third term for Obama, then good luck to you.
So with that, good luck to all of us that next Monday when we hear Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton at Hofstra University in Long Island debating each other. Jack, if you try to imagine what is likely to be the tension, or do you think both of them would perform with the kind of dignity that you expect from the candidates?
I think this debate is going to be very important, and I think they are going to be not only informative but also entertaining. Because everybody else is going to be looking for the entertainment factor as well, because statements coming out of Donald are very strange sometimes, and I think Clinton's going to defend them just as much. So I think it'll be a very exciting debate, and we look forward to it.
So now just imaginary level, and this is me asking question to both of them. So he will be responding as Trump. So this is Hillary now asking to Trump. So Trump, do you really think I'm crooked? You have called me crooked, Hillary, many times.
There's no doubt. Your actions speak for itself. So I don't have to say. You are demonstrating through your actions what your character is. So there's nothing for me to add more to that. You are proving that you are crooked.
So Trump, enough of time. Now, from Hillary's side, I have to say that it was not the right question to ask Trump. But now let's see how, on behalf of all the supporters of Trump, so half of them are in the basket of deplorables. So that remark, do you regret, Hilary ji?
Calling them deplorables? I don't.
No, you said sorry for this.
I said sorry for a part of it. I didn't mean to call. I should have called half of the people that are actually deplorable. People that are part of the KKK, that are part of white supremacy groups, that are openly casting violence at rallies. These are deplorable people.
Not like people like me. We are not.
No, thankfully you're not.
So as Jack rightly said, we look forward to this debate, not only to educate ourselves, but also there is this inbuilt sense of entertainment, and politics has fortunately or unfortunately also turning out to be entertainment, because it is real life television. And we will be talking about the first presidential debate next Tuesday. I sincerely want to thank someone who has served in United States Air Force and then has also been special advisor to USAID, having done his MBA, after having served the country in the most important way. Nishant, thank you very much for joining us. And thanks a lot to Attorney Anand Ahuja, Vice President of Indian Americans for Trump, for coming and contributing with your insight and of course powerful information. And Jack, it was a pleasure to have your presence here, because we always need a balance, and someone who is as independent as you can help us in coming back to the balance. So on that note, thanking all my panelists as well as all of you for being with us. This is Ashok Vyas.